What is up, guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I have my Heisman Watch after week 8 of college football. Very good week of college football. Move some candidates around. Maybe not my top candidates around, not too much, but some candidates are separating themselves, some candidates sneaking up, some candidates straight out eliminated. Speaking of candidates that are straight out eliminated, DJ Uiagalelei, the Clemson quarterback, got benched this past weekend versus Syracuse. He is no longer in contention for the Heisman Trophy for me. You just cannot get benched in one of the biggest games of your entire season and expect to still be in contention, even if you do have pretty good stats and you're on a good team. He played not great at all. I believe turning the ball over 4 times. That's ridiculous. He is going to get the starting job back, according to Dabo, but, his Heisman chances are ruined. But let's start off with the honorable mentions. Honorable mention, I have Spencer Sanders, the Oklahoma State quarterback. First time he's been in an honorable mention this season. This season, he's put up 2,382 yards, 23 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions, and a 140 passer rating. He just keeps racking up wins, man. Leading a only 1-loss Oklahoma State team. That 1 loss coming to TCU. And speaking of TCU, our next honorable mention is Max Duggan, the TCU quarterback. And man, this guy is playing incredible. Some things fall his way. He keeps playing better. Some of these candidates lose some games or something happens. He could easily find himself in this top 5 conversation. On the season, he has 2,105 yards, 23 touchdowns to only 1 interception, and a 182 passer rating. Great stats. And our final honorable mention is Blake Corum, the Michigan running back. He had a bye week, so his stats remain the same. 936 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 6.2 yards per attempt. One of the best running backs in the country. Number 5, it's still Caleb Williams. He was on a bye this last week. So on the season, he has 2,206 yards, 22 touchdowns to only 1 interception, a 64% completion percentage, 8.6 yards per attempt, and a 162 passer rating. Guy is playing great. You would expect that under a Lincoln Riley offense. A guy is a quarterback whisperer and offensive genius. And Caleb Williams lighting it up as he remains at number 5 for me. And number 4, I moved it around a little bit. I changed my mind. I have Stetson Bennett at 4. This past week he was on a bye, so it wasn't bad due to a bad performance or anything. But on the season, he has 2,148 yards, only 12 touchdowns to 1 interception, 71% completion percentage, and 8.9 yards per attempt, and a 155 passer rating. Now, I moved him down for one reason. He just simply doesn't have the passing stats. Those 12 touchdowns, only 7 of them are passing touchdowns. Now, you can absolutely be dual threat and win the Heisman Trophy. I mean, look at Lamar Jackson. His passing stats alone wouldn't win him it. But, I mean, this far into the season and your passing stats look like that, no, it's not going to do it. And the other guy ahead of him is just playing. He's a better player to me. And at this point in the season, I'd feel higher having him on my ballot. Speaking of him, he is Bryce Young, the Alabama quarterback. Roll Tide, roll. Promise I'm not a homer. This weekend, bounced back versus Mississippi State with 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 139 passer rating. Didn't look incredible, but didn't look bad. Kind of a mediocre game, at least by Bryce Young's standards, even though he did have a great throw in the first quarter of the game. On the season, he has 2,043 yards, 21 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, a 66% completion percentage, 8.6 yards per attempt, and a 163 passer rating. Yeah, he's playing incredible. And to me, I think you can make a case he's still the best player in the country. And I definitely would agree with that. But, I think the 2 guys ahead of him, they may not be better players in my opinion, but maybe are just more deserving, you would say. Even though Bryce Young is my quarterback, my favorite player in college football, obviously. But I got to give respect to the 2 guys ahead of him. And Bryce Young, I mean, he carries this Alabama team. Without Bryce Young, even as an Alabama fan, I admit we would lose a couple of games. It would not be pretty without Bryce Young. He is one of the most valuable players in the country. And number 2, I have C.J. Stroud, the Ohio State quarterback. He finally looked a little human this past week versus Iowa, but he still put up amazing stats. 273 yards, 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception, and a 184 passer rating. I mean, that's incredible. Even against that stout Iowa defense, an incredible defense. I got to give him credit. He's most people's favorite, I would say, at this point. He's not mine, in my opinion. But, I mean, I can't take away from the guy. He's murdering teams. 2,014 yards, 28 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, a 70% completion percentage, an absolutely wacky 10.6 yards per attempt, and a 204 passer rating. Whew. If you look at the stats, I wouldn't blame you just for thinking this guy is the best. And I don't even blame you taking into context. C.J. Stroud, amazing player for the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll see how he does down the road as he plays Penn State at Penn State this weekend, and he still has Michigan to play. But still, my Heisman favorite, and the guy I would vote for first in a Heisman ballot if I had one today, well, it is Hendon Hooker, the quarterback for Tennessee. This past weekend had a great game. You know, it's expected versus T.N. Martin, but still had a great game. 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 213 passer rating. On the season, he has 2,408 yards, 21 touchdowns, only 1 pick, 71% completion percentage, 10.8 yards per attempt. That's insane. With a 191 passer rating. Hendon Hooker, man, continues to put up great stats, even though I don't like the guy. I'm not a big Tennessee fan. I can admit the dude is an amazing player. And to me, Hendon Hooker and Bryce Young have 2 things in common that no other Heisman candidate have, and that is a Heisman moment, which I think is very key to winning a Heisman trophy. Bryce Young has one versus Texas, but Hendon Hooker has maybe the most impressive Heisman moment this season, beating Alabama on that final drive and setting up one of the biggest upsets of the college football season. Tennessee finally beating Alabama for the first time in 15 years. Happened 2 weeks ago. I'm so tired of talking about it, but hey, I got to. And I got to own that loss. And yeah, but I'm just glad Alabama bounced back this week. Finally got back in the win column. But thank you for watching. That was my Heisman race after week 8. What do you think? What do you think is the favorite? And how do you think these candidates are shaping up? Think any dark horses can make some runs? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Peace.